This poem by Mark Doty, Verge. There's not, I underscore some of the small details of the lover tilting his head, the leather helmet, and everything like that. What I really wanted to talk about was that this idea of um, seeing something before it becomes the thing. Like when he's talking about a month before the bloom, and already five bare-limbed cherries by the highway ringed in a haze of incipient fire. Like before the buds, we just had spring here, and you know that before the buds, like there's just the air is looks green, the world looks a little green because everything is about to bloom, but you couldn't say that it's blooming yet, and you might only remember it uh, in hindsight, or there might only be this sort of vague uh, understanding that it's even happening. Um, the recognizing the bloom before the bloom. And so then he takes that concept and puts it onto his relationship, where here we are on either side of this motorcycle at the end of the night after we've just left this party. Um, and who, at that point, nobody knew what any of this would be. Certainly he and the lover didn't. But could somebody have walking by looked and seen the cloud around them as if they were, could it be soon to be flower trees? It's something where if you think of, if you're lucky enough to have like a love of your life type of a situation, if you think about the first time you met, there's the idea sometimes that like the world stands still and it's love at first sight and everything like that. That's not how most of it happens, and it's sort of like, what was the actual first time you met that person, and could anyone have known uh, what your relationship would have become? Could they have seen the haze of soon to be blooming flowers, soon to be, not yet blooming flowers uh, around you? An interesting concept for sure. Um, the the Lloyd Schwartz poem, sorry, not Delmore Schwartz, Lloyd Schwartz poem is interesting in so much as it is a direct address to this lifelong friend who's no longer speaking. And then I just wanted to comment on the end, which I find devastating. We loved each other, he and his friend. Why am I dead to you? Our birthdays are looming. The older I get, the less and less I understand this world and the people in it. And to me, this strikes me as a poem and a ending to a poem that is more devastating the older you get. If you put yourself in the speaker's position, this is a 6-decade friendship that's gone. Now we're approaching the final terminus, and we're still not speaking to one another. Um, there's a tension and a finality to that at a more advanced age than there would be at, say, like you are 25 and you're not speaking to your other 25-year-old friend, where there is less time to reignite a friendship. The the absence of that friendship looms all the more heavily. Marrying late, I love this idea. Again, this idea of people who meet in high school, they marry their high school sweethearts, etc. But to have a history of romance and of love and relationships and sex before you meet your spouse, to have all of that history behind you, to be long long time individuals of varying degrees of complexity, and to bring all of that baggage into a relationship. If you fall in love in high school and get married and live your whole life, that's one thing. You're together, like you're the only ones for each other. But if you marry late and each of you have been in various relationships and lived different lives and everything like that, you've got a longer history to deal with, and but because you're older and more mature, you're also, as she says, how unlikely that we ended up traveling together, singing a song we each learned with someone else. neither of us minds that the way we might have then. When you're younger, those things might have mattered. That, oh, you've been with this many people and you've been with that many people. Is that okay? And feel the need to justify that. Whereas when you're older, you understand everyone has a history to bring with them, and that that extra stuff might not matter. This poem by Leon Stokesbury, who's the poet of Señor Wences and the Man in the Box, and one of my graduate mentors. I love very much, and I read at a recent service for him when he passed away. The last few lines are really wonderful. I'll read it, and then this will be sort of the last comments that I make. Unsent message to my brother in his pain. And when I always thought this poem was called Urgent Message to My Brother in His Pain. And I think that's because of, if you listen, like look at all of the pleading words, the listens and the pleases, and listen shows up several times. There's a desperation to the voice of the speaker of this poem addressing his brother, who is going through legal troubles and health troubles and addiction troubles and things like that. So, unsent message to my brother in his pain. Please do not die now. Listen. Yesterday, storm clouds rolled in out of the west like thick mussels. Lightning bloomed. Such a sideshow of colors. You should have seen it. A woman watched with me, then we slept. Then, when I woke first, I saw in her face that rest is possible. The sky, it suddenly seems important to tell you, the sky was pink as a shell. Listen to me. People orbit the moon now. They must look like flies around Fatty Arbuckle's head, that new and that strange. My fellow American, I bought a French cookbook. In it are hundreds and hundreds of recipes. If you come to see me, I shit you not, we will cook with wine. Listen to me. Listen to me, my brother. Please don't go. Take a later flight, a later train, another look around. The way it ends with the two listens to me, the fact that the second listen to me, he finally says, my brother, please don't go. And then the take a later flight, a later train, and then having the period after train and starting that with that ending with that sentence fragment, another look around, like look at this world one more time, and don't you want to stay a part of it? Connects right to the fact that it's an unsent message, and how devastating that must be to the brother to have not sent a message or something like that in this poem. In any event, these are short poems. I think they're beautiful and effective in a lot of ways, and sometimes short and simple is the way to go. So anyway, I hope you liked them, and I'll send you some more next week.